In this demonstration, you will explore how an organization designs security solutions for its infrastructure. To start, verify the Microsoft Azure Active Directory or Azure AD Connect configuration of Contoso's Azure AD tenant. From the Azure portal, navigate to the Azure AD Connect page and review Connect Sync settings. These settings confirm that pass-through authentication, or PTA, seamless single sign-on, or SSO, and password hash synchronization, or PHS, are enabled. You can also verify these settings by using the Azure AD Connect graphical interface by viewing the current configuration. This confirms that synchronization between Contoso's on-premises Active Directory and its Azure AD tenant is in place. Next, examine the results of implementing Microsoft Intune to enforce configuration and compliance of Windows 10 and 11 devices used by Contoso's remote users. To accomplish this, in the Azure portal, navigate to the Microsoft Intune Admin Center. From there, select Devices, Compliance Policies, Policies. And note that there is indeed a compliance policy targeting devices running Windows 10 and later. Select it to review its properties. These properties determine compliance settings, action for non-compliance, and assignments, targeting devices based on their Azure AD group membership. Compliance settings include custom compliance, device health, device properties, configuration manager compliance, system security, and Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Note that that last category clearly indicates that Microsoft Intune integrates with Defender for Endpoint. In addition, it is possible to enforce security-specific configuration settings by using security baselines, which are part of the endpoint security functionality. To review this configuration, navigate to the Endpoint Security node of the Intune Admin Center. Select Security Baselines and review a profile based on one of them. You can check the Microsoft Edge baseline-based profile. From its settings, you can verify that the assignment was successful for all managed devices. You can also examine the properties of the profile, which includes assignments and Microsoft Edge-specific configuration settings. Your next step is to evaluate the implementation of Microsoft Defender for Cloud in Contoso's Azure subscription. In the Azure portal, navigate to the Defender for Cloud Overview page. Defender for Cloud's Overview page is an interactive dashboard that provides a unified view into the security posture of your hybrid cloud workloads, helping you discover and assess the security of your workloads and to identify and mitigate risks. Additionally, it shows security alerts, coverage information, and more. Judging from it, looks like Contoso has some work ahead in order to make sure its environment complies with Azure security guidelines. The top menu bar displays high-level numbers for the connected cloud accounts, showing the context of the information in the main tiles, and the number of assessed resources, active recommendations, and security alerts. You can select the Assessed Resources number to access Asset Inventory. The center of the page displays the feature tiles, each linking to a high-profile feature or dedicated dashboard. Security posture reflects the fact that Defender for Cloud continually assesses your resources, subscriptions, and organization for security issues. It then aggregates all the findings into a single score so that you can understand at a glance your current security situation. The higher the score, the lower the identified risk level. Regulatory compliance provides insights into your compliance posture based on continuous assessments of your Azure environment. Defender for Cloud analyzes risk factors in your environment according to security best practices. These assessments are mapped to compliance controls from a supported set of standards. Workload protections represent the cloud workload protection platform integrated within Defender for Cloud for advanced, intelligent protection of your workloads running on Azure, on-premises machines, or other cloud providers. For each resource type, there's a corresponding Microsoft Defender plan. The tile shows the coverage of your connected resources for the currently selected subscriptions and the recent alerts, color-coded by severity. Inventory links to the Asset Inventory page of Defender for Cloud provides a single page for viewing the security posture of the resources you've connected to Defender for Cloud. All resources with unresolved security recommendations are shown in the inventory. If you've enabled the integration with Microsoft Defender for Endpoint and enabled Microsoft Defender for Servers, you'll also have access to a software inventory. The tile on the Overview page shows you at a glance the total healthy and unhealthy resources for the currently selected subscriptions. The Insights pane offers customized items for your environment, including actionable items to enhance your security, tips to handle alerts and recommendations, recommendations on how to upgrade your service to enhance your environment's protections, recent blog posts by Defender for Cloud experts. To ensure that Contoso is taking full advantage of the Defender for Cloud capabilities, verify whether all of the enhanced security features are enabled. Defender for Cloud uses monitoring components to collect data from your resources. These extensions are automatically deployed when you turn on a Defender plan. Each Defender plan has its own requirements for monitoring components, so it's important that the required extensions are deployed to your resources to get all the benefits of each plan. In the Azure portal, navigate to the Defender for Cloud page and select Environment Settings. Select the subscription or workspace that you want to review. On the Defender Plans page, note that you can selectively enable or disable individual plans. For each, you have the corresponding coverage settings. If the monitoring coverage is full, all of the necessary extensions are installed. If the monitoring coverage is partial, the Information Tooltip tells you what extensions are missing. For some plans, you can configure specific monitoring settings. The two plans which Contoso is particularly interested in are Defender for servers and Defender for containers. Defender for servers includes Log Analytics Agent, or Azure Monitor Agent, which collects security-related configurations and event logs from the machine and stores the data in your Log Analytics workspace for analysis. Vulnerability Assessment for Azure and hybrid servers. Endpoint Protection, which leverages integration with Defender for Endpoint. Agentless Scanning for Machines, which scans your machines for installed software and vulnerabilities without relying on agents or impacting machine performance. Defender for containers includes Defender daemon set is deployed to worker node of Kubernetes clusters and collects security-related data and sends it to Defender for analysis. Azure policy for Kubernetes extends Gatekeeper v3, required to apply at-scale auditing, enforcements, and safeguards on clusters in a centralized and consistent manner. Other Defender for Cloud plans offer extra protection of such Azure resources as App Service, databases, storage, Key Vault, and DNS. They also provide an oversight and security for Azure Resource Manager operations. Contoso will be operating in a hybrid environment, which warrants the implementation of Azure Arc to extend the scope of cloud services to the company's on-premises data centers. Review how Azure Arc is configured in this case and its integration with Defender for Cloud. To start, in the Azure portal, navigate to the Azure Arc page. And list the servers on which the Azure Arc has been installed. While on the Azure Arc page, Note that you also have the ability to manage Kubernetes clusters hosted in on-premises environments and third-party clouds. If you examine properties of Azure Arc-enabled servers, you will notice that they clearly indicate the ability to manage server configuration by using Azure policy and extensions. Their Azure resources support standard Azure Resource Manager mechanisms, such as resource locks and Azure role-based access control. Last, but certainly not least, they also provide integration with Defender. To examine that integration, select Security. On the Security page, you will find the list of recommendations equivalent to those generated for Azure resources. From here, you can navigate to the Defender for Cloud page to view the full list of recommendations along with other security-related information. Alternatively, you can locate Azure Arc-enabled servers from the Defender for Cloud inventory. To identify them, navigate to the Defender for Cloud page in the Azure portal. Select Inventory and filter the entries based on the resource type. In addition to Cloud Security Posture Management, you should also validate the Cloud Workload Protection functionality of Defender for Cloud. To accomplish this, review any alerts that might have been automatically generated in response to a suspicious activity within the scope of managed resources. In the Azure portal, navigate to the Defender for Cloud's Overview page, and from there, select Security Alerts. To filter the alerts list, select any of the relevant filters. You can optionally add further filters with the Add Filter option. For example, you can focus on high-severity alerts first. For example, you might want to limit the scope to security alerts that occurred in the last 24 hours because you are investigating a potential breach in the system. The list updates according to the filtering options you've selected. For each alert, you can easily display its full details and take additional actions in the manner that's guided by the portal interface. This includes suggestions regarding mitigating the current threat as well as preventing future attacks. Contoso can also take advantage of the security-related functionalities supported by Azure Automation, including update management, as well as change tracking and inventory. With update management in Azure Automation, you can manage operating system updates for Azure virtual machines or Azure VMs running Windows and Linux, as well as systems hosted on-premises and in third-party cloud environments. Update management provides the ability to assess the current patching status and schedule deployments of updates. To review the existing setup, navigate to the Azure Automation account integrated with a Defender for Cloud Log Analytics workspace. In the Azure Automation account, select Update Management. From there, you can review the list of systems and their compliance status, identify missing updates, schedule deployments, and review deployment history. Change tracking and inventory in Azure Automation monitors and records changes in Azure VMs, as well as systems hosted on-premises and in third-party cloud environments. To validate its configuration, in the Azure Automation account, select Change Tracking. As indicated by the chart displayed on the resulting page, items that can be tracked by change tracking and inventory include events, daemons, and services, files, Windows registry, as well as software. Note that the scope of changes being tracked is configurable. To review the current scope, on the Change Tracking page, select Edit Settings. From there, you will be able to enable, modify, or add individual components to track, including registry keys, Windows files, Linux files, file content, and Windows services. File Content Change Tracking allows you to view the file content of a changed file before and after the change. Keep in mind that in order to provide this service, the file content data must be stored in a storage account after each change to that file is reported. To conclude the overview, examine the Microsoft Sentinel implementation that is part of the solution. In the Azure portal, navigate to the Microsoft Sentinel page and select the target workspace. The core capabilities are determined by data connectors, so review these first. It appears a number of connectors are in place already. You can easily identify them by filtering the list based on the status set to Connected. As you can observe, they deliver data generated primarily by Azure, Azure AD, Defender for Cloud, and Defender for Endpoint. For each of them, you can easily display the connector page, for example, to check their scope. For Defender for Cloud, you can enable incident and alert integration, so its alerts and incidents will be automatically propagated to Microsoft Sentinel. Finally, review some of the other fundamental functionality of Microsoft Sentinel. Start with the analytics rules. Besides the default Fusion and Microsoft security rules, there are 3 custom ones. For example, there is one named Sign-ins from IPs that attempts sign-ins to disabled accounts. Its purpose is to identify the IP addresses from which there were failed attempts to sign in by using one or more disabled accounts, followed by a successful sign-in by using another account. You can examine the rule logic, incident settings, and automated response configuration. Hunting is another important aspect of Microsoft Sentinel capabilities. Sentinel comes with a fairly large number of hunting queries already available, which considerably simplify hunting efforts. As you can observe, you can filter them based on the tactics criteria. Automated response relies on automation rules, which can leverage playbooks. Workbooks are implemented by using Kusto query language queries to generate interactive reports that display graphs, charts, and tables.